On the ones and twos. Your favorite nephew, DJ Brady Roberts, in the building. Joining me inside the booth today, I have Challenger Community News extraordinaire Andre the Torch Robinson, and Justice the General has decided to show up. They must have paid damn ransom money. Justice, what's good? How you been?
I forgot already. I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Just glad to be back in the area, so it's all good.
Okay, all right. We got some things to discuss today inside the booth here. Probably want to turn these down, all devices. Turn these down. We got some things to really discuss and unpack here. Obviously, we still have to discuss Steelers versus Bills. That recap, some things that Josh Allen had to discuss about cleaning those pre-snap things up. You know what I mean? So we get into that, and as well as obviously the biggest scenario of the day is Stephon Diggs wanting out of Buffalo Part 2. So yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to hear what Stephen A said this morning in reference to that, and then we're also going to hear Stephen A's, I guess, rebuttal or whatever the case may be. So we're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss Colin Cowherd's top 10 quarterback receiver duels. I mean, come on now. I mean, is this getting to a point where people are doing things for clickbait, or just I don't know, people just say anything nowadays. We definitely got to talk about that. But gentlemen, Bills, Steelers, Justice. Me and the Torch, we talked about it briefly, right? What is your thoughts on that, whatever that was Saturday?
It was just a microcosm of what we see during the regular season from time to time. You have a juggernaut offense that come out, they get started fast, and then all of a sudden the game plan just goes down and spirals downward, and there's not ever a recovery. And honestly, this is exactly what I was talking about when I say the Bills need more consistency from the coaching staff, from the effort, the output, all of it. We can't be going around here getting smacked around by the Steelers. I don't care if it is in the preseason. That's crazy. Now, I will say that
you need to win too.
I will say that I'm happy that we came out healthy for the most part. So outside of that, it really just it felt like more last season's Bills, just inconsistencies.
I don't know what to really take of it. I mean, it just gave me a flashback of the Cincinnati game. In the blink of an eye, you're down 14-0. All right, you're down 14-0 in the blink of an eye. So what do you do to try to calm things down in that situation, just to get some sort of rhythm or offense going, not going 3 and out like you did the previous, and get some things generated. But that first half, it was just bad because of the penalty. So you can't really say truthfully about how the offense is, because plays were made. It was just that the penalties negated, some of those drives. The Bills stalled out because of those penalties, and that can't happen. That shouldn't happen to a team that's been together for 4 to 5 years tops, easy. All right. To me, there's no explanation of why this team is so undisciplined in preseason. But again, if it was such a time, preseason is the time to do it, because you have time to correct those little things, and before the season starts. After excuse me, after this week's game in Chicago, basically the Bills don't play until when? September 11th, right?
Yep.
So that's 26, 11. That's just 15 days. That's 2 whole weeks of you not really playing against anybody, and your team really, obviously, they're not in sync. They're not in a rhythm if you're having pre-snap penalty problems, right? So there's some timing off. There's a rhythm that is off somewhere. There is some unbalance in the offense before the ball is even getting snapped. So those things got to get corrected. They got to get fixed. And they need to get fixed quickly. So you may see Josh Allen and company back out there again in Chicago. I don't think at this point right now where you can afford to not have Josh Allen and that first team offense play the way they went out there and played against Pittsburgh, and think that's okay to start the season with. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I'm quite sure that question will be asked tomorrow at practice. You know, you can't let them just sit down after a performance like that. That's like you never in practice on a bad play, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, we can't do that. We can't end it on an interception. You know what I mean? We gotta execute. The last play of practice should be well executed, and that's kind of like in the same sense here. Like, you can't say Josh Allen is done for the preseason after that performance. You can't say that. I mean, he can. He's the head coach. He does what he wants with their $43 million investment. But really, I don't know. That's something to see. Because guess what? They're going to Chicago, again, a team that's not scared of them. A team that feel that they got something to prove. A team that, hey, they have one of our players. I'm quite sure Tremaine Edmonds is going to play in that game. He's going to make his preseason debut versus his former squad. And, it's going to be personal for them in preseason. And the Bills, I think, just want to get out of preseason. You know what I mean? They just want to get ready to the games. When you basically, I guess when you're one of the top teams, you just want the season to start. You know what I mean? You don't want to, go too hard preseason, risk an injury or something like that. I don't know. But it's something, there are lots of daisical in areas. And I think that's just an unbalance of, they just got to get game reps. They got to rep that out. And I think that they should play in the Chicago game, at least a quarter.
I feel like you got to coach that out of like your team. Like that's what Kobe talks about when he talks about like falling in love with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just walk through practice in the preseason. Like you play how you practice and you practice how you play. So like you got to take those reps seriously. And they just went out there and laid an egg, much like they did in week 1 versus the Steelers a couple years ago. So I don't know if Mike Tomlin just got the answers or if Levi Wallace was really giving out team secrets, but I don't know what happened.
No, I don't think that it was that. I was just that, hey, you gotta look at it like this. The Women Marriott Bowl is personal because Tomlin and McDermott, they were teammates, so that's definitely gonna be personal right off the rip. They both got the pride of their school. You can't go back to the Wilma Mary Hall of Fame and talk trash to Tomlin this year. You know what I mean? And then Tomlin remembers how the Bills destroyed them last year. Catching 98-yard bombs. It's pretty much Josh Allen doing what he wanted to do with him. So, yeah, preseason, they probably took it a little bit more personal. Tomlin remembered that and had his guys eating hot sauce all week last week, the way they went out there and played. And against the ones, defensively, they made it look easy. I mean, Jalen, what's his name again? Warren, 560-some yards. Then Pickett just diamond fair move over the middle. So we do have a caller. We had a caller. They hung up. All right, probably disconnected. Caller, if you hear us, you're tuning in. Call back. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. Crest Lines is open 716-837-1112. You know what to do. Okay, they calling back.
I will say real quick before, like, just the same way that I look at it, like if the Bills would have blew up the Steelers, saying that don't matter. Like, we got to wait to see what happens in the regular season. In like an inverse way, I'm kind of feeling the same way. Like, I understand we just got stomped around, but like I'm not super worried about it going into the game.
Well, I could say in the second half, Kyle Allen, it's like the tale of two QB twos. I say that, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Is the caller ready? Caller, you're alive. State your case.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right. Good evening. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, man, I was at that game Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
My wife was down to watch the game, and it was an anniversary gift for me. What I saw from that game, a couple of things. One, no, they weren't prepared to play. But the other thing that I noticed, they went up against a team that was a 3-4 defense, and I don't think they're really prepared for it. No, they didn't look good, but the body language of the team as a whole, they weren't panicked. They just kind of took it on the chin, basically.
Yeah.
But I do see where there is cause for concern, but I think they'll be okay. I do.
And what is the concern? What is the concern you think they have?
If it happened once, it can happen again. Get blown out like that.
Well, yeah.
Little mistakes that they made. They started off on the wrong foot. That long run, that was like a freak accident where Poona Ford was pushed into the other defensive tackle. They missed there. They couldn't close that gap, and my man took off. And it just snowballed from there, in my opinion.
That was a well-executed play. If you look at that play again, that looked like the same play that Minnesota ran last year with Dalvin Cook. You know, they ran ISO weak, which, you know, the Bills is going to bump over and play strong. So once they give you that look, you are man for man on the backside. So when you see man for man, everybody is a hat on. The running back has one man to beat. Either it's going to be the safety or it's going to be the corner. In this case, it was the safety. And Jordan Poyer is 15 to 10 yards, nowhere near the running back before he breaks the line of scrimmage. So that's a well-executed play. Dodson, the linebacker flow didn't get over in time, and it was a one-on-one situation with the running back and the tackler. Poyer takes a bad angle. He gets, matter of fact, he's still running. I said it yesterday. He's still running. Ain't nobody touching him. This is against the ones. So that, yeah, you're right. That is definitely a concern that I saw that I had out there. Middle linebacker. What's your responsibility? You have the containment. You have to force the play inside to Matt Milano. Y'all can't take the same damn lane. You know, in that situation, you have to force the runner back inside to your help. If you just let him get outside, then it's no containment. There's no containment. And guess what? It's a race to what? The sideline.
Right. Now, I'll say this. That same play, they ran it again and it was shut down. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really worried.
Mm-hmm.
I got to look back at things and saw where they ran that play again. It was the same exact idea. And if the Bills were that sloppy, they would have let off another big run like that. Yeah. That didn't happen.
Yeah. I give them that, but sometimes that's all you need in ball games. Is when you execute it, you only need to execute it once because, hey, that's the only time you got to do it. You ain't going to be able to do it again. And, you know, they wasn't goofy enough to let it happen again. At least they understood play recognition and, you know, made a play there. But teams are going to do that once in a while against the Bills during the course of the regular season, and they got to be able to recognize that. And if they can't, then, you know, we'll get that same result. So I'm quite sure Coach McDermott has definitely taken a look at that play specifically because they don't really, you know, give up, you know, big chunk runs like that, you know. So, and they did get a little bit stout, you know, after that play. There were some missed tackles. But, you know, yeah, the Bills got to know how to play from behind because they're so much of an explosive offensive team. They are the ones that's jumping out at you. But when has they ever been in a situation where they were down early big? They never been in that situation in I don't know how long, you know. Tampa Bay game, I probably figured that they was down, you know, that much. And, you know, actually almost came back and won that game. They forced overtime and lost in overtime. And that was what Dable was there. So, I mean, they haven't been in that situation in a while, and it gets foreign to you to the point where you don't know how to get out of that situation because you're not used to being in it. And the Bills need to be used to being in certain situations like that because they're going to be in them this year.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. The other thing that's a side note, there were very few Bills fans at that game, I have to admit. They talk about how Bills fans travel with the team. Pittsburgh is only 3.5 hours away. Very few blue jerseys were in that stadium. But about them playing, they probably needed that to wake them up. Because while I didn't see any panic on them, they were fine. They just realized they lost. But if they're believing any press clippings or any hype, they need to stop that and get down to business. If they do that, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, they got to get down to
If
business.
we're looking at something like this after the fourth, fifth game of the season, then it's time to panic. But
they got to clean up them penalties. 12 penalties in the first half alone. 4 turnovers. You know, they glad that they got out of there with a respectable butt kick in 27-15. I mean, you know,
it wasn't that close.
I mean, hey, you know, those guys, they put some points on at the end, and Pittsburgh didn't. So that in preseason, you got to, you know, the spoils of war, right? So got to give them something. You know, they got to give them something. And it wasn't like that. Matt Barkley didn't get those guys, you know, down there. He just turned the ball over in their neck of the woods. Like, so the Bills did have some drives. It's just that penalties and turnovers just negated it. You know, they got to clean that stuff up. And that's why I say that Josh Allen and the first team need to go back out there against Chicago and play again. There ain't no sitting down and then you don't play till September 11th. You cannot put on come on, like the offense has not scored. Y'all not scoring points. Y'all ain't scoring points at all. A series, first unit. So that's good. That's good enough to start the season.
No,
not a chance. Not a chance. So hopefully, you know, you're gonna see that first unit out there. I'm quite sure Coach McDermott ain't gonna have his team go out like that. They got to perform a little bit better, you know, before the season starts. And I'm quite sure you're going to see Josh Allen, and the competitor and Josh Allen definitely wants to be out there. So I'm guessing Josh plays in, you know, at least that first quarter or first couple of series. If they go out in that first series and walk down the field and score, then he'd pull them. You know what I mean? But show me that. Show me that. Right. If we're a good enough team, if we're a Super Bowl contending team, let's just march right down here against Chicago. And all right, we are who we think we are. You know, yeah. And do that, then okay, sit down. If not, then okay, you got the rest of the quarter. But I think that this first unit still has to go out there and play. I mean, you have to with this new type of offense that Dorsey is trying to install with Kincaid. You have to be out there as much as possible before the regular season starts with Josh Allen and Kincaid. And that connection did look pretty good, you know. So you know, we have to wait and see. So, hey man, I definitely appreciate your insight. Appreciate you calling. Torch, you got a question for our guy? You got a question?
What did you see developmentally that made you think that the Bills had any positives during this game?
Dog Kincaid, the tight end?
Yeah.
I saw him, and I actually liked the backup left tackle. I forget his name, but I liked him. Yeah,
what number was
it?
What number was the backup tackle? 75?
I think 75.
75. That's Richard Garage from out of Florida. He played with him in Florida, so teammates. You know, so
yeah, it was him and the guy that's from, I think, University of Connecticut, something like that.
Nick Broker. Oh, wait.
Another backup tackle.
Broker.
He was actually decent, and Latavius Murray is the truth. He's older, but he's a good backup running back, and he's got some size with him.
Right. And you're going to need that size, especially in them short yard situation, goal line situation. You still have Damian Harrison, too. And I think James Cook is going to have a better season at running back one than Devin Singletary did. So we just got to run the ball. So, again, man, hey, I appreciate you calling in. And, man, hey, hit us up anytime.
No problem. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. All right, hey, hit us up, man. We want to know what you're thinking, Buffalo. 716-837-1112. But before we click, let's hear what my boy Josh Allen had to say about all of this, right? Let's hear what my man Josh had to say in reference to, getting, in the mix with his guys again, just getting the feel for the guys. and those pre-snap penalties. Here's Josh Allen.
What's it like just getting the feel for your teammates and being out there with Kincaid for the first time?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think he did some good things today. I think we did good things today. I don't think it was all bad. I think obviously the first half we wish it was prettier. But again, we're going to learn from it. But I think him especially, Kincaid, came out and made some really nice plays for us, and that's a positive sign.
I muted my joint.
But yeah,
how do you clean up those?
He's still talking the whole 9 yards.
And I think just again more attention to detail. I think
I don't know why.
maybe in practice an extra effort emphasized on that and making sure that we're on the same page. I think sometimes it's youth, some of the younger guys, just getting those reps and getting that experience, and a lot of learning moments for these guys, and myself included.
There it is. That's Josh Allen, y'all. The post-game presser, losing to the Steelers 27-15. Just hey, again, there was some good moments, but again, those penalties and those turnovers just overshadowed it, and it just made it look completely bad. Completely bad. Even though it was preseason, just completely bad. So again, they got to go out there. Josh Allen and the crew, y'all got to be out there Saturday versus the Chicago Bears, at least the first quarter, and go sit it down. There's no way you start the season coming out the way you just came out like that. Or Steph Diggs is really going to win on a Buffalo. You ain't going to wait for Stephen A to tell him that. He's going to really start seeing it himself. But we'll get into that in just a minute. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we're definitely going to chime into what was said today from Stephen A's mouth, the Stephon Diggs rebuttal. And, let's hear your opinion. Phone lines is open, 716-837-1112. You know what to do. Holla at your boy. We'll be right back with more Believe in Bills Late Night Sports.
Get ready for Celebrity Spotlight on the legendary Mix 1080 AM WUFO powered 96.5 FM. A look behind the scenes with some of
Who
the
said the Bills
names
suck?
in
Go
world
Patriots.
entertainment. Athletes,
You know how to be a Patriots fan,
producers,
right?
engineers,
Block him.
musicians,
What's up,
authors,
fellas? What's
and
good?
filmmakers. Just
Oh,
to
I
name
bet
a
you
few.
that's
They're making
Jay
major moves in
Renard.
the entertainment sector, and
Jay
you'll hear
Renard.
from them. Celebrity Spotlight Thursday.
But then again, he's not a
at 4:20
Patriots
on
fan.
You
so-
better worry about
Go
Christian
Seattle.
Wilkinson getting traded to
I think I
Indy
know
for
who this
Jonathan
is
Taylor.
now. Go Seattle.
About Roswell Park is the experience
For Jonathan Taylor, he better
have with
chill out.
cell therapy. My name is Mark
Yeah,
Bernardo.
take
Would
my-
you
be
make
quiet.
would you make that trade? Would you trade Christian Wilkinson for Jonathan Taylor?
I was speaking to a patient. They were going through their kind of cancer.
Y'all think about that. We're gonna talk about that. So think about that. Y'all got to this commercial break. We'll time it out. Even though we know this is the Believe in Bills podcast, we're gonna go a little bit off grid because it was mentioned today. So I was like, you know what?
Paul.
Other people may not.
I know it ain't
That
Paul
makes
Robinson
sense.
saying that.
That may make sense.
Preclinical and clinical experience.
Yes, I would. I would say yes.
That's why Roswell Park has its
saying.
comprehensive cancer center designation from the NCI. We
We're gonna
have
find out.
research infrastructure to be able to continue. to
Listen, phone lines is open. Y'all can hit us up.
And that's why
716.
Oh, it's not Paul
837.
Robinson. Paul Robinson.
11.
On your period, sudden
Shoot.
gushes
Right.
happen without
What's up,
warning.
bro?
What y'all think
Now,
about this whole
You can
Stephon
say
Diggs
goodbye to stand-up gush fears
What
thanks
now,
to
Buffalo?
always ultra thin
R
with
cap from
rapid
Stephen
dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times
I don't
faster
know who this
Then the
is.
leading
The
store
Facebook user.
and gives you
I'll
up to
find out later, though.
100%
Yeah, perfect timing to put this out
free protection.
because this is what
Hello,
America
clean
wanted
and
anyway.
comfortable.
They wanted
With always
some sort
fear,
of
no
this
gush.
is gonna blow up again type moment, right? Yeah, just started too damn early.
Jonathan Taylor should go to a good team.
Ooh,
Somebody said.
so we wrong.
I meant Paul Robinson
So we
said.
wrong. All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night Sports. Once again, I'm your host, Mookie Hawkins. On the ones and twos, DJ Ready Rob. Joining me inside the booth, I have Andre the Torch Robinson and my guy Justice the General. You know, you were tuned into the Believe in Bills podcast, on the Fan Base Network. And right here on Power 96.5. We're going live in the studio today. You know what I mean? So if y'all hear that, make sure y'all tune into the podcast. It's all day long on Twitter and all social media platforms. And we are live right now. So if you missed it, we was just, basically recapping, Bills and Steelers. We're putting that to bed finally. We're on to Chicago as the Bills will be facing off against the Chicago Bears. And, we got a caller? Okay. All right. So let's just finish this up. We got a question too. But we're gonna let our caller get into his question. But we have a question, and you can hit us on the phone lines too. The question is, not Bills related. Would you trade Christian Wilkinson to the Colts for Jonathan Taylor? Hit us up 716-837-1112. Let us know what you think about that. Would you make that trade? We'll get into that in just a minute, but let's bring our caller in. Caller, you are live. State your case.
Hey, what's going on, Mookie, Dre?
Dre, what's good?
Marcus Herring calling. Marcus Herring on the phone.
Marcus, what's good? Marcus, you in the booth this year?
What's that?
You in the booth this year again?
Yeah, actually, I'll be in Chicago.
In Chicago? I won't be in Chicago.
Yeah.
I ain't going to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going to be there, leaving out first thing Friday morning.
Nice. Safe travels. What's up?
Appreciate it. Now, I told Dre I was make sure I can give you a call. Y'all sound awesome on the radio and everything.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. As far as that trade, Miami doesn't run the ball nearly enough. Their whole line is still very suspect. Jonathan Taylor is a beast, but Christian Wilkins is that boy up front. And I would love for them to get rid of him because he's a problem for the Bills.
I agree with that. I'll definitely agree. That's why I say, hey, maybe it is a makeable trade because Christian Wilkinson won 18 to 20 million. Jonathan Taylor, okay, yeah, he wants a bag too, but he's not going to get that type of bag that Christian Wilkinson is going to get. So you can get that probably at a cheaper rate. Let's say, hey, we'll give you 4 years, 40 million. Jonathan Taylor, Christian Wilkinson, that's half of what Christian Wilkinson won. On a contract extension, you can draft you another.
Looking at strict numbers, I understand the numbers part. I'm talking strictly football. There's no way in the world, and for me, if I'm a Dolphins fan and I hear Christian Wilkins being traded, that's almost as bad as Jones with KC.
Yeah.
Because Wilkins is that boy. He that problem up front. And if you, as we already know, you control the trenches, you control the game.
Yeah, we know he's a dog. And
now he's the kid next to him. Either ain't no joke either. He's probably the reason why that our former left guard is still unemployed because he just lunched twice a year last year.
Well, you see how Osiris Torrance is playing. He was locking
I like
out.
him. No, Cyrus is balling.
Cyrus is balling out there. So I want to see what it's going to be like when he matches up against Quentin Williams. Because that was one of the reasons why the Bills drafted him for Quentin Williams. We
need him to get them tackle defensive tackles, them dog tackles.
Definitely. So, okay, Marcus, I'm going to keep you online one time with us, right? So let's dive into the topic of everybody want to get into, right?
No problem.
Stephen A. puts out there today for no reason at all. The topic of discussion was, I guess it was about the Jets, being the biggest, takeover in the AFC or whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen A. just went on and just volunteered some information that had nothing to do with the question being asked.
Boy.
So that became the topic because, this is what we talk about, how mainstream media, national media creates the narrative, right? Yeah. And Stephen A. just went with that and put it out there, and that became the topic of the day. No matter what else went on in sports, that's everything everybody's talking about. There's so many memes and flyers and publications attaching Stefan Diggs to what Stephen A. said.
His show is about debates, conversation. People get tired of seeing the same narratives. The Jets, Aaron Rodgers, Cowboys, Dak Prescott. I mean, that's the same nonsense going on. People get tired of that.
Okay, well, we have it. All right, so let's play Stephen A. On what he said on First Take today. Here's Stephen A. If you ain't heard it, here you go.
Because to me, elevating it just like that is letting the Buffalo Bills off the hook. Last time I checked, we looked at Josh Allen and we said, yo, man, what's going on? You in the AFC Championship game a few years ago. You and Patrick Mahomes was going at it. You were supposed to be the heir apparent and stuff like that. Stuff ain't worked out. You lose. Joe Burrow comes up there, goes to the Super Bowl next year, a couple of years ago, last year, the AFC Championship game. And instead of thinking about Josh Allen, we thinking about Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow going up against one another, okay? So you got Stephon Diggs, this brother all-world receiver, but clearly wasn't happy, walked out, didn't want to talk to nobody, and came into training camp. They had some friction, they had to get settled and all of this other stuff. Brother wants out, by the way, I'm just telling you what I know, I got my own sources. Brother wants out, he don't want to be in Buffalo anymore. He don't want to, I'm telling you right now, I have my sources. Stephon Diggs got to be there, but he would prefer to be gone because he's lost a level of belief. You only got 2 playoff victories since your Super Bowl win. Only 2 playoff victories since your Super Bowl win, okay? So you looking at the Baltimore Ravens, what they have collectively, offensively and defensively, with their coaching, with their experience, with their Rough Rider mentality and reputation. I could make a legitimate argument that because of Lamar Jackson and his new contract, because of Josh Allen and how the Buffalo might be fading and he's got to stop that, along with quote-unquote America's team, I got 3 teams right there that I can make a legitimate argument, have just as, if not a bigger target on their back than the New York Jets.
All right, so we're going to get to the Stephon Diggs stuff, hopefully in a bit.
Yeah, we get into it. Orlowski said, yeah, you know what? We're going to get into the Stephon Diggs stuff in just a bit. Because you just volunteered for stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the question that was asked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Stephen A., besides that conversation, he wanted to stay relevant. And the narrative before today was about how much Stephen A. has not been on his own show lately.
Stephen A. would probably never get an interview with Stephon Diggs and for the rest of his life. And whoever his people is, they probably got cussed out already. I'm quite sure that he got down to the bottom of that. But, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, why would you volunteer information like that, Stephen A.? That was not the question.
This be relevant. I will say this, though. If this was week 5, and say the Bills was like 1-3.
Of course he's going to say something. What you don't think he's not going to say nothing? I'm going to say something if the Bills is 1-3. Everybody should say something if the Bills is 1-3, not just Stephon Diggs.
That's what I'm saying. But my point is, obviously, you play ball. You know a lot of stuff you want to keep in-house.
If you're 1-3, it's nothing to keep in-house anymore. Everybody and their mama is talking about.
Yeah, I'm saying it's probably putting it out here like I'm gonna cuss everybody out.
Well, I'm not talking about his teammates. I'm talking about his people is that Stephen A. feel comfortable to go on live TV and say that about. So who is his sources? Right.
Too much.
That's what I'm saying. Stephon Diggs probably cussing somebody out. Family member or something that gave Stephen A. that to go just volunteer.
So confident.
Right, so confident. And we got a rebuttal from Stephen A. now. We definitely do have a rebuttal and him coming back. Well, I want to say backtracking and still, holding up to what he said at the same time. Kind of like contradicting himself and, at the same time because, hey, Steph responded to it immediately. He didn't respond in a cryptic. He didn't respond to it in a cryptic way. Everybody understood. It was quite transparent on this tweet. Twice, not once, but twice. Okay. So Stephen A. That kind of make you look, foolish in regard for you to put something out there like that, knowing that this is what Stephon Diggs is going to do anyway. He has to diffuse this, immediately. So. Hey, I respect Stephon Diggs for, addressing the problem immediately.
Exactly. So how long before Stephen A. come back with his rebuttal to the rebuttal?
Oh, we got the rebuttal right now. He said it's on his podcast later on that day. I mean, he said so much.
You have it? I didn't hear that part yet.
Oh, we got it right now. You want to play it? You want to play it?
Yeah,
Here you go.
Play it. Let me hear that.
So I was personally told by people very, very close to Stephon Diggs that he ain't really feeling Buffalo ain't going to demand a trade or anything. He just feels like they missed their window of opportunity. That was all I said. In fairness to Stephon Diggs, especially since I haven't spoken to him, you need to see his response because he went to social media and responded to debunk what I said. He said, rocking with my dogs, Bills Mafia through and through. Diggs, 100% not true. Just 11 minutes ago. That was 9 minutes ago. That first tweet I made. That was 9 minutes ago. This one was before that, 2 minutes prior to that. He says 100% not true. I don't know who the source is, but I thought I nipped this shit in the bud already. Well, fine. It's his life. Okay? And I guess only he knows in his heart what is true and what is not true. I'm telling you what I heard from people very, very close to him. 2 people specifically. Okay? I'll let him figure out who that is. Quote, he ain't gonna demand a trade. He ain't gonna force his way out. It's nothing like that, Stephen A. But the reason why he was that way on the sidelines, and the reason why he was that way in the offseason, and the reason why he wasn't bothering necessarily in him and Coach, Sean McDermott and Josh Allen had to talk is because Stephen A. he ain't feeling it. He feels like they may have missed their window of opportunity. So he's denying it. I'm telling you what I heard. It don't make me wrong. I'm just telling you what I've been told. And the bottom line is his behavior was indicative of that. Let's call it what it is.
Okay, Stephen A. Okay, Stephen A. He said he went on to say more. I mean, I don't want to direct traffic to his podcast, but hey, if you want to hear what else he had to say, it's definitely on his podcast. Mm-hmm. Saying a little bit more than that, But yeah,
I respect what he said.
I respect that too, but it's not your place, Stephen A. to put it on blast. Even if his people did say that, that's not for you to go run on ESPN and say it.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. If he did say it, if he did, in his words, it's true to every rumor. In the words of Stephon Diggs, it's true to every rumor.
Good for saying that.
So if he said that, Stephen A. wasn't your place. Even if his people said that, Stephen A., that wasn't your place to go back and tell the world.
They probably said it in confidence.
Not only that, they probably said it in an emotional state. Like, he probably was just feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, after a loss, you feeling that. You
after a loss, you kind of cuss out everybody.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got a bad, negative perception about things, and then you cool down. You come back, and, you know what I'm saying? Things change. Would you disagree?
I'm gonna be honest, and this is the first thing I'm actually gonna say today. If you're raunchy journalism, if you're raunchy media, yes, it is his place to say that. And I'm gonna tell you why it's his place, because his place is to create the narrative. His place is to create a story as a raunchy.
To create and report.
Listen, to create and report. It's something like that. That is what raunchy. Listen, what I'm saying. Raunchy journalism and media do. Please, thank you. You understand what I'm saying right now? Yes, it is absolutely his place to do that, because we all know that that's what place he's in. You don't like Steven. You said you don't like Steven. Well, people say they don't like Steven. Well, I mean, y'all don't like what he did, right? That was the whole point of doing it. Regardless of bad publicity is still publicity, and a bad story is still. Guess who's getting hit? Guess who's joint getting lit up right now? Stephen A. Guess who getting the engagement? Stephen A. Guess who getting the attention? Stephen A. ESPN. So guess what? ESPN. So that was. I'm telling you, as much as I get what y'all saying, and I agree. Anything that you say in confidence probably should be left in confidence. But Stephen A.'s position, and who he is. If you really, really didn't want that to go out, then you don't go to Stephen A. and you talk about it.
I-
My thing is, should have kept your mouth shut. Whoever those sources is, if I'm Stephon Diggs, I'm cussing you out, number one, because why did you even go to him to even say that? You should know what type of position and what climate he in. First of all, y'all mentioned about his show. What's his name? Shannon Sharp about to come home to his show. Right. First Take. You know he ain't did no shows in a while because he by himself right now, right? So of course he got to keep the eye on him, just like the Dallas Cowboys like to keep the eye on them. We know that, right? So you better blame the foundation who started, who planted that seed and watered that joint to give it life to actually spread forth and create a tree. Blame them. Stephen A., that was raunchy of you. But at the same token, we can't really say that wasn't his. I mean, we can say that, but look what position
it's his job to report.
It's his job. You didn't think that juicy information he wasn't gonna drop? Like
this is definitely a case of what would you do if your son was at home? Like
come on.
You gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills. But you're Stephen A. Smith. You don't have to just bring up, first of all, an old story that has already been
you just rejuvenated one that
you just rejuvenated a story in which the subject of the story is going to actively publicly say you're wrong and you're 100% lying. Stop talking about me. So what do you gain if you're Stephen A. Smith other than this attention?
All the attention, all the clicks, all the
that feels like stupid attention to me. Like you could easily talk about something else, other rumors you heard, like you're Stephen A. Smith. I'm sure you have all the sources. Why would you just out two of your sources on something that really isn't that big of a deal?
Justice General, could I ask you a question?
What's up?
How much is the stupid market? We say, what was that percentage you said? 60-40. 60-40. It is 60-40 yesterday. How much of the media listeners is stupid? Let's be clear, or will believe anything they hear that's stupid.
Let's talk about something that's stupid. Let's talk about your boy Colin Cowherd's top
here he comes.
Quarterback receiver duels,
and then this guy
of the season. Like this guy has Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley as the NFL's number 2.
I'm up.
Quarterback receiver duo, and they have yet to play a game with each other over Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
They ain't even plugged out.
Derek Carr and Chris Olave are third. Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson is 4th. And I think Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs was 6 on the list.
Yeah.
How disrespectful that was. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs were 6 on this list. I can't even recall who was number 1 was Burrow and Chase.
This is exactly what Stephen A. did. You just talking out your behind, out the side of your neck.
All that is and Colin, they need some juice.
Let me ask you, did that not just get shock value?
No, you know what this is? This is what happens when you think about something and then you realize how stupid you sound, right? You think about it, you be like, oh yeah, man, that's true. I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver in the league. And then they name you 10 receivers and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I was wrong.
Okay.
This is what this is.
Well, my question is, has Calvin Ridley even had a 1,200-yard season as a receiver?
Calvin Ridley has not caught a pass officially in a Jacksonville jersey for him to be number 2. Let me give you this list. Number 1, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. 2, Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley. 3, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. 4, Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson. 5, Derek Carr, Chris Olave. 6, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. 7, Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson. 8, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. 9, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill. And 10, Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay.
This isn't clickbait.
Right off the super clickbait.
These dudes want attention, man. That's all it is. They ain't getting.
He didn't just name. Wait a minute. He didn't just name one person who. He didn't name one duo who hasn't thrown a pass to each other. Right. He named three different duos and put them over Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
is nuts.
He also put Trevor Lawrence as a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
Oh my, I can't. Let's not. Let's please.
There's
Let's,
no drug testing in journalism. That's probably why.
I
There's
just
no
told
what
you.
in journalism?
There's no drug testing in journalism.
Man,
Absolutely not.
Meth or something.
That's insane. That's
There's
insane.
absolutely no drug testing in journalism.
oh my goodness. What? Fox Sports must be really desperate for attention.
I don't know. I'm sitting up here
What
looking at
kinda-
these platforms these guys on now, and they're just saying anything just to say it, just because of I guess who they are. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's all about the attention. That's all it is. Try to get some views, get some likes, and all of that. That's all it is.
Well, I'm quite sure that every time that the Bills have a bad performance, it's going to be a Stephon Diggs rumor floating around that he don't want to be here. So Bills fans, get used to hearing that. Until you hear it out of Stephon Diggs' mouth per se, it's just a bunch of cap.